Hey folks, Al Gomez with True Vision Media here, and today what we're going to be talking about is resizing photos in Photoshop. It's really exciting stuff, I know, but we're going to take it a step further and we're going to show you how to resize multiple photos, 10, 20, 40, 50 pictures all at the same time with a few clicks. Okay, so let's get right into it. These are some photos I took at the zoo about a week ago. And what we're going to be doing is we're going to be working with actions here. We're going to create an action to adjust the size of the photo. And when you're doing this, you want to make sure that the photos that you are going to be applying this action to are more or less the same size. And as you can tell, they're all pretty much the same size here. There's a few that are a little bigger. Only because the only reason why we want them pretty much the same size is whatever parameters you set for the action, that's what's going to be applied to all the photos that you're trying to resize, because we're going to be creating an action and then applying that action to all the photos, so it's going to apply to everything. Am I repeating myself? But anyways, let's get to it. So if you've ever worked with actions before, it's right down here on the bottom right. Well, depending on your workspace, if you don't see it, you can always go up to Window and Actions and it'll pop up, and then you can drag it to wherever you want. Okay, so what we're going to be doing is we're going to be creating an action. So what we're going to do right off the bat is open up an image. Okay, we're not going to record it just yet, and I'll show you how to do that in a minute. But what we're going to do is we're going to determine what file size or image size would be appropriate for the situation, whether it be email or website creation or whatnot. So we're going to start off with this photo here at 25%. You can blow it up to, let's cancel that, to 100 and blow that up to, yeah, like I said, 100. Okay, and that's pretty huge. It's about a 2-3 megabyte photo. So we're going to start off by going to Image, Adjustments, Image, Image Size. I like to work with percent, that is. They're linked, so you can just change one, it'll change the other. I always start off at 50% and I hit OK and see how that looks. So this is how big the photo is now. And I think that'll work. I don't want to, well, let's expand a little bit. Let's hide our just hit Tab and all your palettes will disappear. And that's pretty big, but I think, and I'm on a 19-inch monitor, and I don't want to expand it fully, only because, well, let's just do it that way. Okay, almost fills up the whole screen capture screen here. I think that's going to work. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to undo image size, only because now, and you hit Tab, everything returns, only because now we're going to record our action. Okay, so if you go to your Actions tab here, and you go down to this thing right here, it'll be Create New Action. We're going to hit that, and you can name it. I'll rename it Resize 50%. Okay, and if you have 10 megapixel pictures, you can actually just create resize 80% or 30% or 20%, however way you see fit, depending on the sort of pictures you're going to be resizing. So that's going to work for the pictures that we have. So I'm going to hit record. Now it's going to start recording every action that I do. So we're going to go back up to Image, Image Size, percent, 50, hit OK, boom. Okay, and from here we're going to save. I like to keep it at high, maximum, it just depends, but I always like to keep it around high, if not medium, but we'll leave it at high for now. We'll just hit OK, and there, it's done. Save. As you can see over here, my action pretty much is just to resize it and to save it. Now it's still recording, as you can see by this red button here, but it's not recording like anything like the mouse movement or my voice or anything. It's just recording my actions, and those are the only two actions I've actually done, or tasks that I've done. So now I can hit stop. Okay, and now we have an action. So now what we have to do is we have to apply that action to all the pictures, and how you do that is, we can close this out, is you go to File, Automate, batch, okay, and then you get this batch dialog box, and by default looks like the action selected is what we just created, the resize 50%. So we're going to go to source, folder, you're going to hit choose, and we're going to hit by default again, because I was working on it earlier. You select that folder. Everything here I always leave unchecked unless it applies. I'm not too sure. I've never had to use any of these settings here, but obviously they're pretty self-explanatory, but I've never had to use them. So I leave it blank. Destination. Now, the source folder is basically a folder that I copied the photos that I wanted to resize out of the master folder, if you will, and I put them into this resize folder here. Okay, only because the destination I'm going to choose is going to be the same folder, so I'm going to be overwriting these photos, okay, with the updated image size. And the only reason why I do that is I can do that is because I have the originals saved somewhere else, and the reason why I keep those in full resolution is you never know if you're going to print them. Again, we are doing this so we can make it easier for you to share them or upload to your website or whatnot. So, and down below you have the file naming. I usually just leave it document name and the extension. Starting serial, you go to 1, stop for errors, compatibility, Mac OS, Unix, unchecked obviously. And that's pretty much it. Now once I hit OK, the action is going to, or the batch I should say, will start to go to work, and it'll apply all the image settings, excuse me, within that action to all the pictures. And if you watch closely you can see it. So we'll hit OK, and boom, it's going to work. It's resizing everything. And this should be done in about 2 seconds. And that's it. Obviously, if I had more pictures, it would just keep going. I mean, it works perfectly for 10 pictures as it does for 50. So, so what we want to do is we want to go back into Bridge. This is where I have everything. And as you can tell, now this is the picture that I resized to test out, and it resized it again at 50%, so it cut it in half, so now it's actually at 25% of the original resolution. But down below you can see that everything is cut by 50%, and if I open one up you can test it out and see how big they really are, and I think that works for email. You can fiddle around with the quality settings if the size is still too big for you, and that way it'll cut down on the file size. But other than that, this is a great way for you to come in into Photoshop and resize multiple photos with 2 or 3 clicks, and that way you can share them with friends and family, and you won't have to get an earful like I do when I don't share photos fast enough. So hopefully you found that useful. Until next time, this is Al Gomez with True Vision Media. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.